Welcome to the news update on AFRICUNIA television, reaching you from our studio in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, yesterday met with Governor Wike of Rivers State in London. This is even as the presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, yesterday met with Governor Wike in London for reconciliation talks. The meeting came after the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had on Monday night met with Rivers Governor and his allies, also in London. Though details of the meeting among Obasanjo, Obi and Wike were not disclosed, it was gathered that it was in connection with negotiation and alliances ahead of the 2023 presidential election. Some allies of Governor Wike who were present at the London meeting included Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State, and former Cross River State Governor Don Laduke, among others. Meanwhile, the long-awaited meeting between Alhaji Abubakar and Governor Wike finally took place yesterday in London. Details of the meeting between the two PDP leaders were not disclosed, but it centered around reconciliation and the need to move party forward. Now moving on, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has said that the Buhari administration has justified all its debts by constructing various infrastructures across the nation. Fashola stated this at the ceremony or closing ceremony of the 28th National Council of Works meeting held in Kano on Thursday. He said the ongoing projects across the country had justified the debts, especially when compared with what the previous administrations had done. The minister explained that the federal government had been able to deliver more than 1,800 kilometers of roads across the 6 geopolitical zones so far, stressing that the Buhari-led administration was determined to complete all the ongoing projects before the expiration of its tenure in May next year. In his remarks, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State said there was a need for synergy between the federal, highways and states to achieve the set objectives. He commended the Buhari administration for initiating various projects in his state. Away from Nigeria, the international community was concerned on Thursday, the day after the resumption of fighting in Ethiopia between the Federal Army and the Tigray rebels ended a 5-month truce in the north of the country, where the situation remains uncertain. Neither the Ethiopian government nor the Tigray rebel authorities, who accuse each other of having triggered the new clashes, have given any information on whether or not the fighting will continue, and neither has responded to questions for the time being. In a statement on Wednesday, rebel authority in Tigray said only that government forces had failed to break their lines of defense. The fighting, which broke out Wednesday in areas of the Amara and Afar region around the southeastern tip of Tigray, does not appear to have spread. But the return of violence has the international community worried that the conflict will resume on a large scale and that the slim hopes raised in June by prospects for negotiations that never materialized will be bashed or dashed. On Thursday, Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen reiterated at a meeting with diplomats that the government is ready to defend the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation. Now, still on the African scene, more than 340,000 people have been affected by floods in Chad since the end of June. According to a provisional UN assessment consulted on Wednesday, heavy rains have been affecting the landlocked Central African country for several weeks, and the affected people are those who have had to abandon their homes and who have lost property. On August 19th, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs announced that 22 people had been killed since June in Chad because of the heavy rains. According to the United Nations, by 2021, 5.5 million Chadians, or more than a third of the population of the landlocked Central African country, would need emergency humanitarian assistance. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, it's updates making the rounds on the foreign scene. Stay with me. And now welcome back. On to the foreign scene. Australia appointed a former High Court judge on Friday to lead an inquiry into former Prime Minister Scott Morrison's secret appointment to some ministers at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Virginia Bell will head the inquiry into Morrison's dual appointment to a range of departments from health and finances to treasury and home affairs, and report by November 25th, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said. The secret appointment fundamentally undermined responsible government despite being legally valid, Australia's Solicitor General said in advice this week. Former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison's secret appointment to ministers during the COVID-19 pandemic fundamentally undermined responsible government despite being legally valid. According to advice from Solicitor General, the advice from the country's second highest law officer was a very clear criticism of the implication for Australia parliamentary democracy, current Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told reporters on Tuesday. And now moving on, recent visit by guests from the United States have reinforced Taiwan's determination to defend itself, President Tsai Ing-wen said on Friday as she met the latest U.S. lawmaker to arrive on the island in defiance of Beijing. Tsai said fellow democrats must work together to ensure more secure and resilient supply chain, and that she was delighted to see Taiwanese semiconductor companies investing in the United States. Tsai said Taiwan would like to be further integrated into the Biden administration's new Indo-Pacific economic framework, which the island has been excluded from, and other regional economic cooperation architecture. U.S. legislature and not the only ones to visit, as Tsai also hosted 2 Japanese parliamentarians this week, and British and Canadian members of parliament are expected later this year. Still on the foreign scene, China still requires international passenger to take pre-departure COVID-19 test and quarantine upon arrival, the Customs Office said on Friday, a day after dropping some reporting requirements for travelers clearing customs. China, which has shortened the quarantine period and removed some testing and self-isolation requirements for inbound international travelers, still has some of the world's most stringent COVID-19 policies. Chinese Customs on Thursday said it had removed the requirements for travelers to report COVID tests, previous infection and vaccination dates when they clear customs to make entry more convenient. Travelers intending to enter China from other countries still have to report tests and other COVID-related information to Chinese embassies to get digital health credential to board their flights, according to the embassy website. And finally, on to the sports scene. Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan will compete in Group C, which has been described as a group of death in the 2022-2023 UEFA Champions League. At yesterday's group stage draw held in Istanbul, IS, Liverpool, Napoli and Rangers were picked to compete in Group A, while Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Leverkusen and Club Brugge are in Group B. At the beginning of the ceremony, Italian coach Arrigo Sacchi was presented the yearly President's Award by UEFA President Alexander Ceferin. Former Turkish national right-back Amit Alintop brought the UEFA Champions League trophy to the stage as 2023 UEFA Champions League final ambassador. In Group D are Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting Leipzig and Olympique Marseille, while AC Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg and Dinamo Zagreb make up Group E. The defending champions Real Madrid are in Group F alongside Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk and Celtic, just as Manchester City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund and Copenhagen are in Group G. In Group H are Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Benfica and Maccabi Haifa. Meanwhile, Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema has won the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award after his stellar 2021-2022 season. Club teammate Thibaut Courtois, who was named man of the match for his heroics in May's Champions League final win over Liverpool, and Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne were named on the final shortlist. But the gong was awarded to Benzema at the draw for the 2022-2023 Champions League group stage in Istanbul yesterday. And that concludes the news update on AFRICUNIA television. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram the City, Instagram, Facebook and on Twitter in that respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and also link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Have a beautiful weekend.